Have you ever heard a question that didn't just confuse your mind, but made your whole body tense up? Everything seems calm, smiles, politeness, familiar words. But underneath, your instincts scream. Something is off. That subtle discomfort you're feeling isn't just paranoia. It's the quiet alarm system of your subconscious. It's the soul's way of whispering, pay attention. You see, not every lie is spoken in obvious terms. Sometimes, the deception hides inside a question. And it's not the words themselves, but the intention behind them, crafted not to reveal truth, but to manipulate perception. Carl Jung believed that language, like all symbols, is charged with psychic energy. When used unconsciously, it reflects inner truth. But when used with malicious intent, it becomes a weapon of distortion, a mirror maze, designed to confuse, not clarify. Liars know this. They don't just lie through stories, they lie through questions. Questions that seem innocent, sincere, even caring. But deep down, they are rhetorical traps, meant to control the narrative, deflect guilt, and manipulate your emotional reality. In this video, we'll uncover 5 manipulative questions that liars and emotional manipulators commonly use. And more importantly, we'll explore the psychological tricks behind them, so that you never again confuse manipulation with honesty. But before we begin, take a moment to subscribe to Deep Psyche if you haven't already. Because here, we don't just explain human behavior, we explore it through the eyes of depth psychology, self-awareness, and emotional truth. Also, join our Telegram community where kindred minds connect for deep insight, reflection, and growth. Let's begin. Manipulative question 1. Why are you being so dramatic? On the surface, it sounds like a comment on your behavior. But in truth, this question is a strategic attack on your emotional integrity. You're not being dramatic. You're reacting to something real. But instead of responding to the issue, they target your reaction. According to clinical psychologist Dr. George Simon, this tactic is a hallmark of covert aggression, a form of gaslighting where the goal is not to deny reality outright, but to erode your confidence in it. By labeling your emotional response as an overreaction, they avoid addressing what caused it. This forces you into a defensive position. You start explaining why you feel what you feel, instead of standing firmly in the truth of why you were hurt. Carl Jung once wrote, "People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own soul." This question is just that, an absurd redirection, a denial of their own shadow projected onto you. Here's the truth. You are not dramatic. You are not too sensitive. You are responding to emotional dishonesty, and your body knows it, even before your mind does. Manipulative question 2. Do you even trust me? At first glance, this sounds like vulnerability, a plea for connection. But look closer. This question shifts the blame away from their behavior and onto your boundaries. Suddenly, the issue isn't what they did. It's your supposed lack of trust. This is emotional blackmail disguised as concern. As Dr. Harriet Lerner, author of The Dance of Anger, points out, guilt is often used by manipulators to regain control. They frame the conversation around your loyalty, your trust, your faith in them, instead of the real issue, their breach of it. This creates a false choice. Either you trust them unconditionally, or you are the one destroying the relationship. But here's the truth. Real trust isn't demanded. It's earned. Through actions. Through consistency. Through honesty. Jung believed that trust was not a belief. It was a result of psychological alignment between the conscious and unconscious self. When trust is violated, it's not just the relationship that's shaken. Your inner equilibrium is disturbed. Neuroscience backs this. Dr. Paul Zach's research shows that when trust is broken, stress hormones like cortisol rise, while bonding hormones like oxytocin plummet. That's why betrayal doesn't just sting, it physically rattles your nervous system. So the next time someone says, "Do you even trust me?" ask yourself, are they trying to heal something or trying to hide something? Manipulative question 3. What do you want me to say? On the surface, this question sounds like confusion, like a person who's overwhelmed, maybe even willing to make amends. But don't be fooled. This is performative vulnerability, a disguise. The real message behind this question is, I don't see what I did wrong and I don't want to. According to Dr. Breen Brown, manipulative people often use faux vulnerability to avoid real accountability. They mimic emotional openness to shut down difficult conversations. By asking you what they should say, they shift emotional labor onto you. Suddenly, it's your job to write their apology, to coach their remorse, to fix the rupture. But you weren't the one who broke it. Carl Jung taught that true change comes not through words, but through the integration of the shadow, through seeing and owning one's unconscious behavior. But the liar doesn't want integration. They want performance. A scripted apology. A way to smooth things over without ever confronting the discomfort of genuine growth. So when someone asks, "What do you want me to say?" remember, you're not here to spoon-feed someone else's maturity. You're here to honor truth. Speak it, hold it, and refuse to let it be diluted. Manipulative question 4. Can we just move on? Forgiveness is beautiful, but when demanded before accountability, it becomes a form of emotional bypassing. This question isn't about resolution. It's about avoidance. Psychologist Dr. Lundy Bancroft, in his book Why Does He Do That?, explains that premature forgiveness is often a manipulator's way of dodging growth. They want to skip the confrontation, skip the apology, skip the hard conversation, and still keep access to you. Can we just move on? Translated, can you pretend this never happened, so I don't have to feel guilty? But here's the truth. You cannot build peace on top of silence. You cannot move forward while dragging unresolved pain behind you. Carl Jung believed that what we do not face within becomes fate without. Unprocessed emotions don't disappear, they return. In our moods, our relationships, our dreams. What isn't healed repeats. So no, you don't just move on. You face it. You speak it. You reclaim your voice, and with it, your right to honest emotional resolution. Manipulative question 5. Are you really going to throw everything away over this? This is the emotional nuclear bomb of manipulation. Suddenly, it's not about their betrayal. It's about your boundaries. Your self-respect becomes the villain. This question reframes your act of standing up for yourself as an act of destruction. You're overreacting. You're ruining everything. You're the one giving up. But in truth, you're not throwing anything away. You're walking away from a dynamic where truth isn't valued, where your pain is minimized, where your needs are dismissed. Dr. Ramani Durvasula, a leading expert on narcissistic abuse, reminds us, boundaries are not betrayals. When someone makes you feel guilty for enforcing limits, what they're really saying is, I benefit from you having none. Carl Jung taught that selfhood, true individuation, requires that we separate from false attachments. Sometimes, this means letting go of the bond to rediscover your inner bond. So when someone asks, are you really going to throw everything away over this? The real question is, are you really going to throw yourself away just to keep this? Liars don't just tell lies. They plant confusion. They distort meaning. They frame the narrative, not to discover truth, but to bury it. Their questions are not questions. They're veiled commands, psychological traps. And recognizing them doesn't require a PhD. It requires presence, stillness, and the courage to trust your discomfort. Because beneath the charm, beneath the guilt, beneath the wordplay, your instincts already know. You don't need to explain yourself to someone who is committed to misunderstanding you. You don't need to stay in conversations designed to drain you. You don't need to accept questions that carry poison wrapped in politeness. You only need to see it and walk away with your soul intact. If this resonated with you, drop your experience in the comments. Let's turn this space into a community of truth, healing, and self-awareness. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Deep Psyche, where we explore the hidden forces behind human behavior and awaken the quiet power of your unconscious mind. You are not here to be manipulated. You are here to awaken. And the moment you stop explaining, stop defending. The moment you stop playing along, that's the moment the liar loses control.